Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Helm to Tower podcast. That's right.
Yay!
We've emerged from a Legend of Zelda coma to record one more podcast right before Season of the Deep kicks off. Hello, I'm Mike Burgess, and I'm here with Alex O'Neill. Hello, Alex.
Hello.
Hello. That's right. I've admittedly, we were just talking about before we started recording this. We've pretty much not thought about this video game at all, admittedly, for the last week. But luckily for us, Bungie, the wonderful folks over there, and the community people who put together the weekly blogs, put together a nice collection of all the stuff they've been kind of putting in blogs and things over the past couple weeks. So we're going to go over everything we haven't gone over since our last episode. So there's been a couple articles and some other details about the season, mainly for some exotic armor and exotic weapons that are getting tuned and changed and stuff for the new season. They're going back to the well and updating some stuff in some cool ways. So we'll definitely talk about that. And I think in general, we'll just kind of, we're getting into a brand new season, so it's going to be an exciting time. Season of the Deep seems pretty cool so far from what we know. Going back to Titan and stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. It's just that other big looming thing has just kind of helped pass the time, and it's been a big game to play through. I'm looking forward to some Destiny still. Alex, so you haven't really played at all. When was the last time you booted up Destiny 2 and did anything?
It was when I finished the champ title. Which
Excellent.
Did we talk? Have we talked about that?
I don't remember if we talked about it last episode. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
I immediately had that same vibe of I've been such in a Zelda coma that I'm trying to remember what. What we
so much in my brain right now.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I know we definitely talked about the super updates. And all those exotic, or not the exotics, but the supers themselves and the abilities that they're updating. I know we talked about that a bunch last episode. We talked, I think, a little bit about PvP changes, so I didn't include that in here because we went over it very briefly. And then I think we touched on Guardian games a little bit. But yeah, I definitely burned through that first week. I will say I got the title, and then I technically guilded it, but then it was bugged, so you couldn't guild it. But then they fixed that, luckily, since that all went down. So I have that done. Today, as of recording this, I will say I emerged and gave it one more go, and I was able to solo Spire of the Watcher dungeon. So now I am Guardian rank 11. Thank you.
We did.
That was one of those things where I literally the Thursday before, Thursday last week, before Zelda came out, I was like, I'm gonna try and just do this so I don't have to think about it. And then I think it was just a multitude of storm of it was right after work, so it was already late, and my mind was already on this thing that I'm about to jump into and put hundreds of hours in, and it was just I just don't want to think about Destiny. I don't want to be in it at the moment, and had a horrible, miserable time trying to solo that dungeon, and it was a mess. So literally, shit goes to show when you just step away from the game. I did not play this game for an entire week until this very today, early this morning, and I jumped in. I was like, I'm going to give it one more try, give it a go, and if it happens, it happens. If I give it a couple tries and it doesn't, if I spend too much time on this like I did the other night, I'm just gonna say accept my Guardian rank 10 fate for now. But then luckily I went in this morning and I was able to do it. It was still not one thing. I hope they change. I don't mind that soloing a dungeon is a part of getting to rank 11. I think that does show that you are very adept at the game, and that is the highest rank, the top rank of the top rank. So I feel like it makes sense for that. I just hope that they make it so with the master stuff, they at least were lenient on the master raid stuff. Was you can just clear the raid boss. What I would like for them to do with dungeons is make it so you can solo encounters, but don't have to do it all in one go. That was really what kind of just did it for me, because that just can take a long ass time, and it's I only have so much time in the day. Bungie, come on, please. I can solo these encounters just fine, but just let me do it at the pace I'm able to sometimes, as somebody who likes to do other things with their lives and also has 2 jobs basically, and it's like it would be nice. But still got it done. My paint. Funny enough, like as frustrated as I was last Thursday, I died more times doing the first platforming section through the rafters. I died there like 3 or 4 times, and then like I only died once in the final boss room, which I thought was pretty funny. That's just how it went. Still though, that boss room's a pain in the ass, especially on solo.
Yeah.
I had not a fun time doing that.
Did you do Warlock for?
I did. No, I did. I did the Loreley Solar Titan. I did Loreley Solar Titan, and then I did a weird setup where I had. I had Witherward for a while, but then I realized I used it a lot on the first boss. Like I did the whole, bait and switch kind of stitch with that. But like the boss was like I had seen people say that like rockets are the thing to go to. And I did try that, but I wanted to just try something else just because like, I was being frustrated by rockets and like ammo and stuff and other things like that. So I just wanted to try something just to try something, and I actually used the Valve Stifle Stasis Fusion, the Deliverance, and I used Ikelos SMG and Grand Overture is what I used.
Nice.
So, and that actually worked pretty all right for me, just because there was the loop helped already with how you had to get it set up Grand Overture with the missiles, right? So I can just, start it off, pull it out, and just dump into the stupid hydras that spawn, pick off enemies with it, get to the 20 missiles, and then just kind of clean up. It definitely made the harpies much more of a threat, but like that's why I would try to go with the fusion, just so I could just point blank them when they like rush you or do like their weird shit. They were still annoying though. Like that was like my one pain in the ass thing, was not necessarily like surviving, was more just like you could, a lot of times during that encounter, I just kept getting stuck in loops where it'd be like, all right, I started this chain, and then I'm trying to get into the room, but then a bunch of enemies spawn, so I clear out enemies. By the time I clear out enemies, the boss in the room shoot at me, so I gotta run out, and then I'm trying. Now it's like, oh, then I'm out of the buff, so now I get the buff, kill that guy, and then start it over. All the enemies respawn, and I gotta do it again. And it's like this like horrible loop of like just trying to find the opening, and like surviving that was more of like the stressful pain in the ass thing than like just doing damage or whatever. Like once I got to damage, it was generally fine because I would just dump, throw my hammer, get radiant, shoot missiles, and then just super, and then just do as much damage as I can. And I did it in like I think like 5 or 6 phases, so it worked out.
Yeah, I think I had 6 phases as well. I got so stuck there too. And when I did it too, I didn't die until the boss room. And then I died like 15 times on the boss, so it didn't matter. But again, I did it in the season with solo operative, so I had a little bit of an edge. Which
I definitely was. There's definitely many times when I did both times. I was like, man, I should have done this back with solo operative, I think. Yeah. Or like, Bungie, please just make this make it like a permanent thing. Like, maybe make it like a. If they make if
you're solo
mod.
in an activity like that, get that buff.
That'd be great. Or make it like some kind of mod you can slot in, so they can make it like a, I know they like to make their like, you have to have your pros and cons for like setting stuff up. So like, I'd be fine if it was like some mod you had to slot in at the sacrifice of like some other thing or something. Like I would just that would be nice for sure.
Yeah,
to have.
Totally. I ended up using a glaive. That was the only way I could survive. Was with the shield.
Yeah, the shield.
Because the supplicants just would I would lose myself when your warlock, you're floating around, and you're coming down slow into like a pile of supplicants.
Yeah,
it's like, all right.
Yeah, they're just so random sometimes, because sometimes they'll zoom at your face. You'll just be like, a brace for an explosion. They just don't do anything. Or you'll hear them like chasing behind you, just randomly exploding. You're just like, okay, great, cool, bye.
Yeah,
idiots.
The shield let me survive those. Weird. So, and it helped with the boss. Like if he started getting too close, I could kind of get out of there a
Yeah.
little bit more safely. But I'm a glaive crutch. What can I
Glaive
say?
it up. Nothing wrong with some glaive action if it works.
But hell yeah, congrats. You're Paragon.
That's right. Paragon and Guardian rank 11 is achieved days before the new season, so that's nice. And I'm glad they changed it, so now it does not feel as like, well, I did this, I guess. Cool. I can post about it once on the internet. Now,
well.
like, yeah, I'll be rank 11 with that. And I also, because I didn't realize I got the wanted title from that as well, because I didn't realize that was the only challenge I had left with soloing, so I got that. That was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's a good title.
Yeah, that was nice to get that checked off right before the season ends. But yeah, now we're just in getting into new season mode. It's definitely going to be an interesting season, right? Like, we know there's no power upgrade. We know there's not going to be like a typical vendor paradigm, so we're not like going to be getting weekly currencies from challenges to like upgrade a vendor. Maybe we are. We just like, maybe it's not. Maybe, or it's going to be like,
maybe it's not that different.
Yeah, maybe it's just like you're not going to a vendor to do that. Maybe you just completing those challenges like upgrades you in some way. Maybe I wonder if that's maybe how they'll do it, or if there's just nothing at all. And my hope is it's just there's nothing at all, and like whatever the state is just you're already getting like the bottom line, like a bunch of good rewards,
Yeah.
Because it's interesting too, because we'll see like the transition of like from what I'm aware is like Defiant engrams will stop dropping, right? And then they'll turn into deep engrams. Is that what's happening? I thought that's what they said in a blog like a long time ago.
Ooh, yeah. You know what? You're bringing up some really good points. I think
I'll look through some articles.
It's possible that Defiant engrams might drop from the Battlegrounds activities, but it also could just be that you will be able to use the Season of Deep engrams for any of the previous Defiant vendor options.
Yeah. That's what
I think that would make more sense. Certainly.
Yeah, that's what I thought they had said in a blog a while ago. Like, I want to say it was like the big late fall.
It was like the pre-Lightfall thing.
I think this is the one. Explain Season of Defiance. We're doing with energies and Season of Defiance. We will head to Season of the Deep with some of the under blah 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 blah. This doesn't say it here.
Yeah.
Some currencies. Obviously at this point we'll see in like a day or two. But I thought that's what they had said. They had said like essentially we'd have one engram. We wouldn't have currencies anymore. It would just be the engrams, and like the engrams shift each season, and then you'll still use deep engrams, I guess, or whatever they'll call it, season the deep engrams, to then focus those other things if you want to, or if you can go do them. Because I know they said in the TWAB we're going to get to that came out this week was like, hey, go get all those vendor things out. I'd assume that includes those. Like, those are just going to kaput like the other ones.
I should do that.
Yeah, I did that today as well. And I was like, oh, here, drop these 20 real quick.
I'll say, the system for Defiant engrams is great. I feel like you have a lot of them. You can spend a lot of them. Some things are more expensive, but it makes sense after you get all the upgrades and you're like getting like 6 from a single activity sometimes.
Yeah. It's nice. I like it as well. It's just simple. You're just playing stuff and getting the things, and then you go and then you get the keys as well, and that's what gives you the chests. So curious what it'll be. Like they said, like it would be this season's activity will be different than what we've done before too. Like it won't be like a battleground situation. Like I'm curious what they mean by that. Like I wonder if it's going to be like a multiple thing. Like I'm wondering if it's going to be more like a lot of this is just theorizing from the setup of previous seasons. But I know like with Season of the Haunted, they had like you went back to the Leviathan and did stuff on there. I wonder if it'd be a similar thing like that where we're going to go to Titan and like do something in like some old Titan, like D2 Titan area, but then when you do like story mission, like the story missions are going to be like separate little missions you run through other things because we did see that there's like, I think it was in like last week's blog where they showed off the like the armor ornament set for the season, which looks really badass.
Yeah.
So they gave like a better look at that, which was a cool picture. They also talked about like there's like going to be unique stuff, and they showed some screenshot of some underwater area that presumably you will be going into. So we don't know what that all means, like if that's part of an activity or like some kind of patrol zone or whatever it is. We'll have to just see soon enough here.
Yeah, it looks wild, but exciting.
Yeah, very very interesting stuff, right? Like we've never gone underwater before in Destiny, as weird as that sounds, and like it's like an interesting place to travel to, also with a giant sea monster of some kind. Very gonna be really cool. I think like story wise for sure. I think it's gonna be an interesting season.
Yeah, and that's not even like we'll also get the new mission on Neptune with Osiris about the veil.
Yeah,
and hopefully get some more context about that.
Yeah, it's going to be super interesting to see all that stuff, and that's how they told us that's how we get the new aspects, which they actually showed us a video of in this blog, and they look pretty sick. Well, I'll definitely, when we talk about those again, I'll probably throw in the video version of the podcast. You'll be able to see some of that in action if you didn't check out any of these blogs to see that stuff in video form. But yeah, I think we can get to some of the actual info they've told us about here. We're gonna go over some blogs. I think I have like a quick refresher of things they did here that I think would be nice to talk about here real quick before we get into those tuning blogs. Again, there'll be exotic engram focusing, which they went over, so you'll be able to like basically exotic engrams drop. Then they go into that feed like we have with prime engrams and stuff, and then you can take them to Rahul to then to do all kinds of different focusing for exotics. So you can pick specific like years basically of Destiny. So you can do like Red War exotics or like Forsaken exotics or whatever. But then you can also do like very specific ones if you want to pull like armor rolls, and that'll cost extra. So that'll be very interesting. I'm curious how that'll be. For sure, the costs and stuff will be interesting to see if it's worthwhile. Deep Sight activation is happening. So there'll be a new currency called Deep Sight Harmonizer, which will basically let it so you can make a weapon that is craftable. If you get one that just drops normally, it's not a red border, you can then turn that particular drop into a red border with this currency to then increase speed up the pattern acquiring of that stuff. So that's pretty cool. I like that. I hope it's just not stingy with that harmonizer stuff. We'll just have to see.
Yeah, first season distribution is poorly done, I'd say, but you're only getting 6 if you have the season pass. Yeah, and that's it.
Yeah. So they will be stingy about it, huh? That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be
hopefully
what it is.
Hopefully in the future it'll be better.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll increase those hopefully. And then also, at least from the crafting costs, they're taking legendary shards completely out of the cost of crafting stuff. So that's great. Don't need any more legendary shard dumps. Crazy sickos. Please, Bungie. From there, we're getting updated Vanguard bounties. They're just like kind of streamlining a lot of them, where they're saying like, a lot of these you can now just do in any activities that you're just defeating enemies in general. But if you're doing it specifically, if you're doing the specific things in the bounties in Vanguard activities, it'll just have increased, basically acquiring completion or whatever. So that's cool. They're finally getting rid of matter weaves and rainmakers. Thank God. This should have happened months ago, but it's finally happening now, which is great.
Best update. Yeah,
and you will be able to turn those in for materials. So like it is like it's basically like 1-to-1. They say like the matter weaves will be like an enhancement core each, and rainmakers I think are like a couple thousand glimmer each. So that's awesome. I am glimmer stocked for months basically with the amount of those stupid fucking things I have in my inventory. I'm glad they're gone.
Yes, who would remember to use them?
Never.
And now
no
you
one
can just cash them in.
No one ever.
Yeah.
No one ever used those. It's stupid. Good Boy Protocol is back, so our dog friend from season of Seraph will be hanging out in the tower somewhere, and I guess we'll be able to pet him. I guess I don't know if they'll do anything else, but that's still pretty fun. Why not?
Thank God.
Yeah, I know. Robot dog. Need a place to hang
Archangel,
out.
my sweet baby.
And then lastly, we have here that is the exotic drop rate. All of the more recent stuff in seasons has had like the triumphs that give you increased chance. They're basically just going retroactive on all of the previous raids. I think, or is it mainly just raids, and then you'll be able to cash in various challenges that then will have increase your chances at exotic drop rate, and those are retroactive. So if you've already done a lot of those challenges, you can then go do that. If you haven't gotten
Dungeons already had the triumphs,
right?
So
yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then PvP stuff, a couple things. Elimination is out, and Dominion will take over Trials game mode. There's a new Trials quest for newer players. So there's a lot of mainly trial stuff. There'll be the practice pool and the challenger pool. So. Curious how PvP people will take all of that stuff in. I'm sure they'll just complain about it anyway. All right. So that's those are kind of like the quick kind of TLDRs of like a lot of the TWABs we've had over the past few weeks. So that's a good refresher there. But other than that, we missed two big articles here about season 21, which is exotic armor tuning and weapon changes, which are also predominantly exotic weapon updates, which is pretty cool.
We can finally say Eternal Warrior meta.
Eternal Warrior meta. I pulled it out of my vault and made it 1810. If that means anything, we'll see. We'll just have to see how it goes in a few weeks, or not a few weeks, like a few days.
Yeah.
So. We're gonna do some skim reading here of this stuff. I didn't put down like detailed notes this time around, because there's a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we don't have to go over all of it.
Yeah, we don't have to go over all of it, but we'll just call out a lot of the changes to each exotic here, how they lay it down, and it's also noting, which like it's always weird to me that like people just don't like think these whenever they do these details. They think for some reason that like these are overriding the existing things the exotics do, but all of this stuff is in addition to what these exotics already do. They like specified in this blog. They say like unless we're removing this thing from this exotic, like it'll still do what it's doing, and you'll just it's just getting an extra added thing, because a lot of these are for like exotics that don't get a lot of use, or are kind of like seen as like weaker or lower. On the tail end, they're definitely bringing a lot of them up. So it's always like nice to see this.
Yeah, and most importantly, you can rotate your weapons now.
Yes, yeah. Good call. That was also in this week's blog. Is they've made it so you can rotate weapons and also like vanity like items like ships and sparrows and stuff. You can now rotate them, spin them in the menu as fast as you desire. You just spin them around in circles and see the full thing, which is cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Nice little change like that. But let's get into these. If we're doing some exotic armor tuning, we'll do that blog first. Cool. So let's look at the hunter exotics that are getting updated here. We have the sealed Ahamkar grass. This exotic will now reload the magazine and all of your weapons when you defeat a target with your power to melee. And for 5 seconds after dealing damage, you gain increased movement speed and jump height. That's cool. I admittedly do not remember what sealed grass does either. That's not the trip mine one, is it?
No, that's claws.
That's
Warlock something. It's something else.
Grass.
I think is the trip mine ones.
Let's see. Sealed Ahamkar grass. Dealing melee damage reloads your currently equipped weapon, providing a large benefit to the airborne effective stat of all your weapons for 5 seconds after dealing damage. So this makes it so.
You're also getting movement speed and jump height with it.
Yes, yeah, and it's doing all of your weapons. Because it was also before it was only the current weapon, so now it reloads everything.
That's cool.
And provides better stats and stuff. When you get
that's with a defeated target.
Yeah, with your powered melee. So that could be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Then after you embrace his nexus is gain additional strength while the exotic weighted knife bonus damage bonus is active. So basically just faster melee cooldown for that. Sounds like okay, that's cool. Oathkeeper, when fully drawn, bows gain bonus damage against against combatants that increases as you hold the draw, but deactivates after a few seconds. Wow, that's this could be interesting actually.
I remember people bringing up Leviathan's Breath with this and wondering what could potentially happen.
Yeah, Leviathan's Breath, like Wishender, could also be pretty nutty with this, I think.
Yeah.
There's definitely some interesting changes because they've been doing a lot of like bow stuff, I feel like, recently. I don't think there's any bow anti-champion stuff this season, from I remember from the perks, but we'll get into that. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
I might actually pull those out just to like try it, but I don't know if it'll be something I stick to forever. But it seems like it could be cool in certain situations, especially when you have like a season where they're like bows are like really strong, or in like Wishender's case, you have the anti-barrier Wishender, like that could be pretty good with that. Pop a shield and hidden ardor. Yeah. Worth doing it. Let's see. Raichu's Harness. When deactivating your Arc Staff Super, you create a blinding explosion that temporarily increases your arc weapon damage. However, blocking with Whirlwind Guard will no longer consume energy more slowly. Interesting. So that's how they're doing that. I gotta admit, even with the Arc Staff Super changes, I don't know if I see myself really using it much. So they really need to. They can keep trying with this stuff, but. We'll have to just. I still don't feel the draw of the standard Arc Staff Super. Right now. But I'm sure they'll keep touching on. I think they talked about it in that Super tuning blog, but I think they're going to probably do more to roaming supers. I'm sure in the future releases and seasons and whatnot.
Yeah, more effects, more keywords. I'm expecting.
Yeah, for sure. So we have Radiant Dance Machines next. Kills with your free dodges. Kills while your free dodge is active. Extends the duration of free dodging. No longer deactivates when you get too far away from enemies. Deactivates after using Suspending Slam. Yeah, this still sounds really good though.
Yeah.
Like so basically, it basically it gives you more dodging capabilities when you have it, and then also it encourages like getting those kills because it increases that dodging, the ability to dodge. You just dodge a bunch of times, get a kill, then keep dodging. On top of that, I think there could be some really cool things, and they have a commentary here which I think puts into perspective of how like actually pretty good this could be. Is adding the time extension on kills allows this to pair extremely well with Marksman's Dodge. Which that's the dodge on Hunter where it's like, it's not like the roll, it's like kind of like the sidestep one where they kind of like twist and that like reloads your weapons when you do that. So it's pretty, it can be useful. But it doesn't have as much kind of like actual dodge range though compared to like a standard, like the roll dodge. But yeah, it pairs extremely well with that dodge, the Reaper Armor mod, and the new Powerful Attraction mod as you collect Orbs of Power. So the distance, that's right, that will be a mod next season.
Yeah, when you use your class ability.
Yeah, so it's just thinking of like seeing a hunter just dodging around the room a billion times and just
back and forth,
just orbs
sucking in.
Yeah, orbs, like that seems like a fun thing.
Yeah, it does seem like a cool loop.
And it makes sense when they also talk about like, however, yeah, allowing it to continue granting free suspending slams, be able to use to create an infinite orb generating machine without ever having to risk your own survival. So yeah, that's a fair trade, I think. Yeah, I will probably pull this out. That could be like a fun, even with like the not suspending slam. I could see it still being really fun on like a strand build or like some like maybe like even like a stasis build or something. With the hunter aspect that when you dodge it makes like a big slowing burst.
Yeah,
you can have like a bunch of. I don't think it does it on every dodge. I think they did change that, or never did that in the first place, from what I remember. I think it might just be like when you dodge the first time, it does the big burst, but you can't do it like, subsequent times after that.
Can't spam it.
But yeah, that could still be really good though, because you can do that into like kind of an enemy counter, and then like kind of take yourself out of it with extra dodges and stuff, which is nice. But yeah, that'd be cool. I'll definitely give that maybe a try. Stompies removed airborne effectiveness penalties. You only gain increased speed, slide distance, and improved jumping while your dodge energy is full. There it is. Take it, Stompies. That's kind of a nerf to them generally.
It feels like kind of not a nerf too,
Yeah, I think they're going with their kind of methodology if they want the trade offs with the good. So you can have way more airborne height and movement, but you need to have your dodge up all the time to do that kind of stuff. So that'll be fine. I'm sure
people are already upset about this one. Don't worry.
I was gonna say I'm sure there were people out there complaining about that one somewhere. We'll just have to see how it is in game though. I'm sure. Last one for the hunter is Mask of Bacchus. Changed to use a tier 4 non-stacking weapon damage bonus, which behaves the same as non-stacking damage bonuses provided by Surge mods. Damage bonus increased in PvE from 10 to 25%, now grants a 6% bonus to weapon damage in PvP. No longer stacks with Surge mods, leg armor mods, but provides a larger bonus that can be achieved with 3 such mods equipped. So this is really interesting. They're doing this with a few exotics like across the classes, where basically they're making like the Surge mods, like trying to like, I think you can kind of use this exotic in place of using a bunch of Surge mods in your legs for other things. I think that's like kind of like what they're going for, which is like, that's cool. I'm definitely curious about that for sure. I like I've never used a Mask of Bacchus that much, but I kind of want to try it now. And I definitely want to look at the one that we'll get to. I think it's with the Titan. I think it's with Titans has an exotic that does that now too, I believe.
Yeah, and Mantle of Battle Harmony for Warlock is being changed to this.
Okay.
As well.
Yeah, that could still be pretty good for that.
It's interesting to have like an exotic that like allows you to not have to put in certain leg armor mods.
Mm-hmm.
But it also means you can't stack buffs in certain contexts, in most contexts.
That's true, yeah.
So I wonder if this is to start, reining in some of those more kind of crazy solo things that happen.
Yeah, that's probably something they definitely look at for sure. How people are, soloing bosses and entire raids and stuff.
Yeah,
for sure. But yeah, those are all the hunter ones. Yeah, some of those sound pretty cool. I'll definitely try out Radiant Dance Machines. And I would say maybe Oathkeeper. Because I feel like in general this will be like a decent season to like just try more random stuff. Because you don't have to really worry about it. I don't have to really worry about leveling up all this stuff. You can just kind of play, which will be nice.
Yeah. It's low pressure, but it also means I think they're assuming people will play less. So I'm curious what activity will be around to get people to play more.
Yeah, definitely curious. Will be definitely like one of the more interesting seasons in general for the game, just for that state alone of like no power up. What does that mean for people coming in? Who like need or want that weekly power grind to maybe keep engaged a little more, or like have that like carrot on the stick. Like, what does that mean? And like, will it mean like, I definitely think it means, even more so than ever, there will be weeks where there's just like, like no one's really playing. And then weeks where bigger things happen. Like I think of like, the GMs drop or, other PvEs,
trials,
story bits.
Would it be sooner? It's going to be sooner in this season.
Yeah, it's the first week, I believe.
Trials is first week. GMs is week 4, I think.
Yeah, it's week 4. You can start doing them, but then the
rotator's not up. Yeah,
that's later. And of course, there'll be a new dungeon this week as well.
Yeah, on Friday.
On the Friday. So that's a bunch of stuff. All that stuff's great to look forward to. But yeah, I'm curious like what else will there be, if anything, to like keep people coming back like each week. I don't know. I wonder if they'll be able to keep that going. If there's going to be any other things going on that they might try.
Yeah,
we'll just have to see. Let's move on to Titan exotics. These are up next. Point contact cannon brace is getting lightning strikes now jolt targets. Increased PvE damage per lightning bolt from 50 to 200. Being amplified now increases the damage of the lightning strikes by 50% instead of extending their range. This could potentially be pretty nutty as well, as I feel like. I don't know if I think it'll be more for like I could see this being used in like GMs and stuff, specifically for like jolting stuff, and then just like hitting like crazy hard. I feel like you'll be able to clear out rooms with that. That could be really interesting. I know there's like some other mods as well that we'll get to with the season that can make this pretty powerful. I think that in this season in particular. Very curious about this one. This will be one I maybe actually pull out.
I'm curious about Jolt and how it's going to feel most of all. So
because they definitely are tuning it down a lot, so it won't be as strong as it was. But if this just straight up lightning bolt damage and also the amplified damage increase brings up what Jolt is like kind of losing out from its nerf. Like this could be, I think, pretty strong.
Totally,
for sure. No backup plans. This is a complete rework, replacing the old functionality entirely. So here you go. Here's the first one that's actually getting completely changed. Now provides a moderate benefit to the airborne effectiveness and a reload speed of shotguns. While you have Avoid Overshield, shotguns deal additional damage, and shotgun final blows refresh your overshield. While using Avoid subclass, rapid shotgun final blows or defeating a powerful enemy with a shotgun grants you Avoid Overshield and kicks off your health regeneration. Yeah, it seems like it'll be pretty fucking strong in PvP.
Yeah.
It's like, slide shotgun around and get a fucking overshield. If you're on a void class, and then just as long as you're getting kills, you just have void overshield. Like that could be interesting, for sure.
Yeah, this sounds terrifying.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure that'll be let's see if it becomes a PvP menace or not. We'll have to see. I'm sure people already loved void overshields, so.
Yeah.
After that,
I feel like the fragment that people were really worried about, like when you're low health and you get overshield, void overshield, I feel like that did not turn out to be as bad as people thought it would.
Yeah, that's true.
So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Second Chance is getting updated. I'm actually kind of stoked for this because I actually do like that exotic. Shield throw melee now weakens enemies, and stunning a barrier champion with your shield throw melee grants a single full melee charge. It sounds really fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, the having the extra shields to like guarantee more like stunning capability, and also weakening them on top of that when you stun a champion and weaken them, or just doing it to general enemies. Yeah, that's gonna be really fun. I like that exotic. It's again, I think the whole problem was there's just that melee is just kind of weak. I definitely remember I think they are buffing it a little bit for from that ability blog. That I think they're buffing it a little bit. So definitely we'll mess around with it. Some this season for sure, because that sounds fun.
And in theory, you'd be able to like make someone volatile and weakened with a single shield throw, right? So
yeah, I think so.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. That might also be really fun with what is a collective obligation as well.
That's what I was thinking.
Thinking about that, yeah, that could be really fun. Stronghold, again, I forgot this one existed. It's like the weird sword one for Titans.
Oh yeah.
Replace the healing from blocking shots precisely with significant damage reduction. So it's 50% in PvE. Wow. 10% in PvP. While blocking with the sword when you stop blocking. When you block with the sword, you get that. So when you're blocking, you get that like crazy damage reduction instead of healing. When you stop blocking, you gain restoration ×2 with a duration that increases based on the number of shots you blocked. So there you go.
That's really cool, actually.
Yeah. The original heal on Perfect Armageddon was swapped out for a damage reduction to improve ease of use. The previous version of Perfect Guard incentivized rapid blocking and increasing and releasing of the block to be most effective, which was unintuitive for most players and inaccessible to some. The change to damage reduction while blocking and restoration after you stop blocking allows you to close to melee range even against powerful enemies and stay alive while delivering attacks that can thanks to restoration. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, that could be pretty crazy. And they said compares really well with exotic swords such as Lament. Yeah, that could be pretty crazy on Lament.
Yeah,
so
that's a good pairing.
I wonder if
especially on solar and stuff with longer restoration effects.
Yeah, I wonder if there will be some damage strats with that kind of setup with the sword stuff. They also mentioned, I think it'll be in the weapon tuning blog, that like one of the future things they plan on doing is like making more bigger changes to swords to make guarding more valuable, I think is what they said.
Yeah.
Which I'm all for that. And having swords be more of a thing again, because they really have not been a thing for quite some time.
Yeah, that makes sense considering glaives give a 90% damage reduction with their shield.
Yeah,
and this exotic allows a sword to give 50%.
Yeah.
So it's definitely. I mean, restoration ×2 is basically become unkillable, but it's still. For sure. It shows how out of line those two things are.
Just those base things, for sure. Then we have Eternal Warrior, the true king of the new meta, is here. Rapid takedowns with an arc weapon grant escalating bonus to arc weapon damage. So this is a similar thing where it'll be like having basically surge mods with arc surge, and you can just do that with like rapid kills with an arc weapon. So that could be really fun. And then once you use your super, you also when your super ends, you will then get that full damage bonus out the gate right out of your super, which that could be really strong because that super also gives you an overshield. So that could be pretty. This could be a pretty potent combo for sure. I actually am genuinely curious about this. On top of this season, definitely seems once we'll get to the artifact perks after we get to these blogs, and there's a lot of arc focused mods, so it definitely seems like it'll be a arc season all around to mess with. Next we have Kepri's Horn, which is solar damage now. Solar damage wave now scorches targets. That's the Titan barricade one where you make a barricade, shoots a big fire blast. So then it scorches. So that's cool. I still probably won't use it.
Probably not.
Path of Burning Steps is getting also changed to use the non-stacking weapon damage bonuses used by surge mods. So that is technically, I think people are saying this is like kind of a nerf to it in some regards. But I mean, admittedly, I did not see a ton of people using this anyway. So I don't know. It might be more of like a PvP sort of thing where this is getting hurt by its like damage. It's not having as much damage bonus or whatever. But yeah, it's hard to say because I admittedly did not. I myself don't use it a lot. I've not really looked into like what was the thing, but I definitely saw people being like, they nerfed it. I was just like, news to me, but sure, okay, whatever you say, people.
Yeah, right. There's a lot of that from this particular rework on some of these things, I think.
Sure. Let's wait and see because I don't mind some of the. Having used a bunch of surge mod stuff, I don't really mind that damage bonus it can give, and now not having to worry about it in the idea of having surge mods. Like that's kind of nice because then you could like I'm thinking immediately already of like I can take these surge mods out and like I think like some of those base mods that are like picking up orbs of power to like get things are actually can be extremely useful. Yeah,
that's what I usually use over the surge mods at this point.
Yeah, in a lot of cases I do the same where it's just like having orbs picking up and it basically healing more than half my health is very useful. So I definitely like a lot of that stuff. The last one here, I think, for Titans is Dune Marchers, which is basically it's getting its chain damage reduced in PvP. I think the chain damage is being reduced across the board, maybe in both. It's going from 20 meters to 12 meters, but only its PvP damage is being reduced from 85 to 50. Which is fine, because I know that thing can be pretty much a menace in PvP. So basically, yeah. So there's actually a lot of use in PvP, not much in PvE, and these changes embrace that. The range of the damage chain made it very easy to get kills without ever seeing the person killing in PvP, so we reduce the damage, reduce the range. So that's fine. I like Dune Marchers in PvE. I'm a weirdo like that, but that was because there's not a lot of really other great arc stuff for Titan up until the Thunder Crash Titan became a thing. So with Curious, so
now you can be an Eternal Warrior,
or maybe a point contact cannon brace. Like those both seem pretty potent changes. I'm actually looking forward to those.
Yeah,
and Second Chance as well will be very fun. So that's yes, I'm down for a lot of those updates. Here we got Warlock time, baby. First up, we got Vesper of Radius. Vesper of Radius is now the Warlock meta. That's what I'm calling it. Your Rift emits an arc shockwave every 5 seconds that deals damage 200 in PvE and 70 in PvP. Enemies defeated by the shockwave explode for an additional 100 damage, and if you have an arc subclass equipped, also blind nearby enemies. Wow, you can do a lot with that, I feel like. Actually does sound pretty cool. But it's always that thing, right, of like, it's cool, but like I feel like I'm always using rifts in like more defensive positions.
Yeah.
Rather than like I'm like having a bunch of enemies around me and it's like, oh shit, I'm doing it. So maybe could that be interesting in PvP at all? I don't think so. I guess maybe because I know people use like the freezing stuff in PvP.
It could be annoying, for people that are running stasis, but also annoying for people like guarding corners, I think.
Yeah.
Just that the pulse shockwave and 70 damage isn't nothing.
Yeah.
Sure. I am really curious about this. The blind is also really interesting just because Warlock, if a blinded opponent goes down while you have one of the aspects on, you get a little arc buddy or arc ionic trace. So with that, in addition to like special weapon blinding, like there's a lot of combos that you can build off of with Warlock.
Yeah, for sure. And it says it's an arc pulse, and it emits an arc shockwave every 5 seconds. And like I guess that'd be for like, so basically it's like the whole duration of a rift. So you could be in a position where you like have to set down a rift, and then it's just continually doing that over I don't know how long a rift is nowadays, but
I think it's 13 seconds.
So yeah, you get like 2 or 3 waves out of that. So that could still be useful. Definitely curious. It could be. I think it could be interesting in like general content, but I don't know if that'd be like an end game thing here.
Yeah,
we'll just have to see with that. Chromatic Fire increase the radius and damage of the explosion created by kinetic precision takedowns. The explosion also applies a status effect to targets damaged by it, and so depending on which subclass you have equipped. So Arc has Blind, Scorch has Solar, Cease has Slow, Strand has Sever, and Void has Weaken. So yeah, that seems pretty cool.
This seems really good.
Yeah, because that's like, so what is it? Damage, explosion created by kinetic. So it has to be a kinetic.
So you have to be using a kinetic weapon.
Kinetic weapon, and then you get a kill. Then it makes an explosion that causes this.
Yeah, it has to be precision kill.
And
it's like fire. It's or Dragonfly, but. And I honestly, I had this idea of like something kind of like this as a rework to Dragonfly, just across like if it's an arc weapon, it'll create a blinding explosion or whatever. But this on Chromatic Fire, and like the radius was already pretty good on these explosions, so I'm curious what the increased radius and damage is going to look like.
Yeah, that could be really cool. And it does, and that could be really good for like a. I feel like it'd be really good on stasis because I know Slow does overload. I think Blind is also overload, if I remember correctly.
Blind's unstoppable. It might also be overload, but
okay, yeah, I think you're right. But yeah, like thinking of like, but all of the other things are also really good. Like like Sever and Weakened.
Yeah.
Like Weakened could be really really strong. I feel like so. Like there's definitely use cases for a lot of this stuff. So that could be kind of interesting builds that come out of that.
Yeah, and there's plenty of great weapons to pair it with. So
Yeah, I wonder how. Yeah, I also wonder how it works. It has to be a precision kill, I guess. So
yeah,
like having that precision kill like proc kinetic tremors or something, and then have this all go off like that'd be
Arbalest
crazy.
with this would be really good.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that'd be cool. Next up, we got Dawn Chorus getting a Daybreak projectiles damage bonus has been increased and no longer is reliant on the enemies being scorched. So that's good. I feel like that's how it was before, right? Or no?
I think so. I don't remember how Dawn Chorus was originally, but this is good.
I know people used to like it a lot, and then they made changes to it, and then people didn't like it. And I feel like now they've just been reverting a bunch of changes slowly just to get it back to where it was. And I guess we'll have to see again if this does it.
Yeah, I wonder how much damage this is.
Yeah, for sure. Sanguine Alchemy is next. That's I lied. It's not Vesper Radius. It's like
Sanguine Alchemy is meta.
As meta's here. Live out your vampire fantasies. Standing in a rift grants a non-stacking bonus to weapon damage, matching your subclass damage type. This damage bonus is the equivalent of 2 Surge leg mods, so 17% in PvE and 4.5 in PvP. So it's
I wonder if you could run 3 Surge leg mods with this and potentially go over the 25% maximum.
Yeah, that could be interesting. It has to match. So it's matching the weapon is matching your subclass type. So you have to do like plop a rift, and if you're on arc, you could do whatever damage it was, or it's actually just standing in a rift. So you could like be like
it could be somebody else's rift,
else's rift, or like a well of radiance maybe. Or I wonder if it works in well, or you can have like a well drop. Somebody drops a well and you get in and do a bunch of increased damage with the well. So that could be actually kind of interesting. All right, Sanguine Alchemy meta is actually happening. Here we go.
It's happening.
Next we have Claws of Hahamkara. Let's go. Good classic. Powered melee kills create an orb of power. When heavy-handed mobs are equipped, increase the potency of the orb spawned. No more than 1 orb can be spawned per enemy takedown. So
this is awesome.
That's pretty cool. It's just free orbs for getting melee kills,
and you get an additional charge.
And then
this
also
with Strand is going to be really fun, I think.
Yep, it's going to be really fun with Strand. That's right, because they are adding the 4th melee charge as well with this. I believe they said that is this season. So there you go, 4. Just get 4 melee. Shoot out 4 of those things at 4 different enemies. You have a bunch of orbs. It's pretty cool. Mantle of Battle Harmony is next, and then, like you said, is getting that weapon damage bonus with a tiered damage bonus system that some of the other ones we are getting have. And it is, what is it? Damage was from 15 to 16. They're reducing PvP, increasing PvE damage from 20 to 25%. So it is getting a damage bonus PvE, which is cool. But then they're lowering the PvP damage from 15 to 6. So it's just matching those other ones. So they're in that state.
Yep.
So it's cool. I guess getting a little more damage in PvE. I immediately don't use this one a whole lot to begin with, but maybe it could be.
I use this one every now and again. It's been a while, but I used to use this one a lot. Mm-hmm. I appreciate that. It's basically like when your super is fully charged and you get a kill, you get a damage buff for a certain amount of time. If you get a kill with a weapon that's your subclass, and they're extending the duration of that buff from 6 to 10 seconds, which is very nice.
Yeah, that could be fun. Yeah,
it refreshes on kill, but still, it's like you can keep it up for longer, and that'll help you do more damage to bigger targets, I think, which is good.
Yep. Yeah. That'll be I'm always interested in those damage. Finding the DPS metas or whatever. I'm sure people will suss this all out soon enough as the new season and see if any of this stuff is worthwhile. But I guess it's not. We're losing a lot of those like the stack. Excuse me, a lot of the stacking opportunities, like you mentioned. So I'll be curious how this stuff plays out.
Yeah, the classic combo with Mantle Battle Harmony is not Cold Heart, Aegir Scepter with Stasis.
Yeah.
Because you can get a kill, then cash in your super, and then you'll get the buff to your weapon on Aegir and when you're using the catalyst and doing all that stuff while getting that damage buff. So
yeah, so
it can be fun.
So that'd be just a little bit better now, pretty much with this change. So it's cool. Ophidian Aspect is next. It's removing the extended melee range. I feel like that has always been something PvP people have complained about for a long time.
Yeah.
So it seems like it's
finally getting nerfed.
Finally getting taken out. It seems like in general they're trying to rein in some of those melee ranges. So that's always good to hear. Prometheum Spur grants Rift energy for any solar weapon takedown, with more energy granted for solar weapon takedowns while standing in a rift. Also, you now have standing in a rift when you get a final blow for the exotic to consume your class ability energy and create a rift at the target's location. Okay, so basically this
is the one where it makes the empowering and healing rift combo.
Right.
Before, if you had your class ability full and you killed a target, it would consume your class ability. Kind of like that one rework to Lorelei that didn't last very long, where it would like eat your barricade. So now it's making it so you have to drop a rift, then kill enemies to recharge the rift, and then when you get a kill, it'll create the healing empowering rift.
Got it. Okay.
So it's a little bit more setup, but once you get there, the idea is that you're kind of hopscotching from empowering healing rift to one of the other.
You're able to get around through it. Yeah.
That's the Prometheum Spur kind of idea.
Okay. Sure.
This is better.
It does sound better, but I still don't know if I would get in with Prometheum Spur personally, but
it depends on the energy regain when you're standing in a rift. If it's like really good, I could see this actually being really fun. But
sure, it's just to see. Then last year, we knew this one was coming. Starfire Protocol.
Rest in peace.
It's gone for good. It feels like it's gone for good because this is a pretty significant nerf. Reduce the amount of energy gained per instance of damage from 20% to 2.5%. And powered weapon kills now grant 20% grenade energy. And then you have a dev commentary. Oh, Starfire Protocol. This exotic has been strong for a long time, ever since Solar 3.0 dropped, and fusion grenades became much more powerful for warlocks. In making these changes, we didn't want to completely rob the exotic of its benefits, but right now, Starfire is one of the best single-target damage-boosting exotics, combined with a Horde or Wolfbook Browns, the rocket launcher with Demolitionist, and you essentially have an infinite loop of rockets and double detonating grenades. Yes, it's been the standard for what? Yeah, like I said, pretty much since Solar 3.0 dropped,
like a year.
Season Haunted, it's been over a year. People have just been nuking bosses and raids and all that stuff with this. So it's sucking all the air out of the room. These changes are intended to tamp down on passive weapon damage, giving you your grenades back too quickly. You still probably get an extra grenade or two per damage phase, while also pushing it away from single target damage dominance and more towards neutral play. So, there you go. Goodbye, Starfire Protocol. I'm going to admit something here right now. I almost virtually never used this Starfire Protocol build set up. I know it was really strong and it's cool, and I think I maybe used it like once or twice, like when it first became a thing. But admittedly, I made a Solar Warlock build that used the gauntlets that I'm now blanking on that I've used all this freaking time.
Sun Bracers. Yep, that's it. So you get the solar melee kill to get the million solar grenades. I always did that instead, and I enjoyed that quite a bit. I just like running healing grenades too much. So I usually just run something like that with Phoenix Protocol or I Have Another World.
Yep. and that totally works. So,
Yeah,
expected it to
the
go
thing
right.
is, like, this was definitely expected, and it will still be good, like they said, for neutral game, because you're now getting grenade energy on kill, so it's not as effective against bosses.
Yep.
But you're still getting huge chunks of grenade energy on kills. So, like, when you're just fighting ads, I think Starfire is still going to be very powerful and very useful.
Yeah.
But
It just won't be a boss melting instantly sort of thing. And like they said, like it's sucking the air out of the room of us, like, if you were warlock in a group, like you need, like, and if you weren't wearing this, you get side-eyed in some parts of the Destiny world. So like I always do like when people, or when they do tone a lot of this stuff down, because then it stops people from being ridiculous and just let people like run stuff they want to run sometimes, instead of having to be like, oh, you got to run this because you're the warlock, and it's like, fine, or you got to run this because you got to be a void hunter because it's all you got to be. And it's like, no, I can be other things. It's fine, please. It's always
please let me try.
It's always existed in Destiny and plenty of games, but I'm glad when they finally just say, like, yeah, we need to tone this down and stop it. But yeah, that's all the exotic armor tuning that we got there, and there's lots of stuff. A big chunk of exotics getting updated. Looking forward to that stuff. Could be some fun updates, and of course, I'm guessing we should get some new armor exotics this season. I would imagine,
hopefully,
this new season. So that'd be cool to see what all that stuff is. But we have one more blog to do here. That is talking about weapon changes coming this season. I'd say again, like I said, I think I said earlier, predominantly it's a lot of exotic weapon changes, but there's some other cool stuff in here, like hipfire reticles and stuff are getting a big change this season. In terms of, like, a lot of weapons that are like a little bit more custom and how they shoot and fire are getting more custom reticles to like match that stuff, like fusion rifles and hand cannons and trace rifles and stuff. They're kind of changing some of that stuff to give you better visibility, and also, like, showing like charging and other things, so like you can kind of read those things a little bit better, and also, like, making it so it's not as FOV does not have as much of an effect on that stuff, or it's just better to have higher FOVs and use these things. There's a video in the blog. I'll put it in the video version, so you can see a couple of the changes. They show it in real time. It looks cool. I definitely particularly like a lot of the exotic ones they're doing, where they're basically showing a lot of the exotic perks visually through the reticles now. Mainly things like Devil's Ruin and Quicksilver Storm and other things that have kind of like these charges you're getting of extra things that'll now like show them in the reticles now, where you can see, like, when you have the three grenades up on Quicksilver Storm, you'll have like three little ticks on the relic itself, and they'll like real time show when you're using them and stuff. Really cool.
I love that stuff.
Yeah, really cool. Tons of other exotics are getting similar things, like Vex's class is getting like a charge meter of some kind. Traveler's Chosen, like a good amount of them will have these kind of more custom reticles, which is really cool. Definitely looking forward to messing with that stuff and seeing how much it helps out. They also told us about the weapon inspection screen here. They're getting you can spin around the vehicles and the weapons now to get like a full view of them, which is cool. Let's see what else we have here. Full auto melee is here. I think we talked about that a little bit. Other full auto settings that are in the game now you can do with melees. This will work with like grenades and other things, or not grenades, but like glaives and roaming supers and stuff like that.
I'm grateful for this, cool. For glaives.
So yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. Curious how it'll feel, for sure. Then we got weapon archetypes. A handful of changes here. The first one is kind of interesting because of the weapon. In particular, they point out here But it basically says Tyranny Heaven stats were always weirdly low, and now we're touching these weapons anyway, so we opted to update its stats while we were in there. So it's just getting better stats. Also should mention Tyranny of Heaven if you don't know what bow that is. It's the last.
Is that Last Wish?
It's the Last Wish bow, raid bow.
Oh. So we're potentially those are getting the crafting update.
Yeah, that's what people are definitely speculating now. Is Last Wish is the one, because we know there will be some appraised weapons this season, raid weapons with new perks, and I think they brought it up. I don't know if it was in this same blog or it was somewhere else where they said there's going to be a rocket launcher this season with a new perk. Oh, it was in another podcast. There were some podcasts this week from I think it was like Destiny Massive Breakdowns is the name of their podcast.
Okay.
And they had Chris Proctor on, and I think somebody else from the Bungie team, and he talked about a new rocket launcher a perk coming called Bipod. And then they said there will be a new rocket with that in there, and also there will be a rocket launcher that can run Reconstruction and this new Bipod perk. People did some research. Because there's a Destiny 1 perk called Tripod, which gave 3 rockets in the mag. So go with Bipod, I have 2 rockets in the mag. If it can have Reconstruction, look at that rocket now have also 3 or 4 rockets in the mag. Be crazy. Now they're also
4 rockets. Let's go.
It could be pretty wild. It's only half of a rocket mag in a single mag. People brought up that there is a rocket launcher also in Last Wish. So could be the Last Wish updated perk roll for Last Wish rocket launcher. Or there could be a dungeon rocket launcher with this potentially.
Yeah,
we'll
definitely leaning into the rockets being the meta right now.
For sure. Yeah. That'd be cool.
Which they did with like Storm Chaser this time last year as well.
Yeah, a lot of fusion, right? The linear fusion stuff last year. So I definitely feel like rockets, are definitely getting hot. Machine guns, submachine guns, they're bringing down a little bit, mainly for PvP. It's aggressive machine guns again, are aggressive submachine guns are getting kind of like tuned down a little bit. They're producing some damage and other things like that. Because obviously, if you've played PvP at all, the Immortal Strand SMG from Trials is super strong. They're finally toning that down. So that's cool. Next up, we got sniper rifles. So they're increasing sniper rifle PvE damage by 10%. I think they did say that in a previous blog that they're going to do that. But they didn't want to go too hard because sniper rifles are pretty super safe damage options. All things there because you have a lot of range. Obviously, with that kind of stuff, but I still think they could use a little bit more damage. So this is nice to see. They did note that Izanagi's perk shot did not receive the buff, so it's not getting that 10% damage buff, but it is already still pretty strong anyway. So that'd be cool.
Yeah, and base Izanagi shots will get the buff. It's just not the big shot.
Mm-hmm. As they said, Scout Rifle's long arm was inadvertently receiving the damage bonus versus minors for exotics. So if you address that, wow, I didn't realize that was happening. It's interesting.
Yeah. People now are going to be bummed out that it's gone.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Didn't even know it existed. Probably weren't even using that Scout Rifle this whole time. But yeah, those are some fun updates. Yeah, definitely. That'd be cool if Last Wish is the reprised raid. Or not reprised raid, but updated raid with perk rolls and crafted weapons. Yeah, I would definitely want to get a crafted Shattering Bow. It's a good classic pulse rifle. It's one of my favorite pulse rifles. Very good. That'd be fun if that happens. Been a while since we've loaded up into Last Wish, that's for sure, but it could be fun.
Yeah, we ran it like me and some of our other Destiny folks ran it legit before Lightfall came out. It was really fun. I was like, man, this raid is great, and this last fight is really fun. So
yeah, it's really fun. Maybe they can make people mad and do some fixing on that and finally fix that last encounter.
Oh,
So you
yeah.
can't cheese it or whatever. I guess I have to see if that comes with this reprise if that's what happens. But now we can get into the exotic weapon stuff, which there's a bunch here. Eyes of Tomorrow is the first one they got. Basically now with Eyes of Tomorrow, if you get 4 kills with a volley of rockets, so if we use all 4 rockets in a single volley, if they all get a kill, it refunds a shot. So I don't remember exactly. Is a 4-shot volley like technically a single shot in the mag?
It's a single shot in the mag, yeah.
So basically, could you do you have an infinite ammo rocket launcher then, as long as you're getting kills? Is that what this is?
If you're clearing ads, I don't know if it's like coming from reserves or not. It doesn't say, but
true. It could just be like it refunds it from what you already have or whatever. Like it's just like a free reload basically.
Yeah, but that's so cool. I do actually like Eyes of Tomorrow. It's very fun.
Yeah, this will make it even more of a menacing gambit maybe. Or I don't think you could actually, because I don't think you get that many kills with it. But
if you get the whole team,
yeah, get the whole team, get that one rocket pick. Graviton Lance, I'm actually really stoked for this change. Graviton Lance's performance feels exotic, but it was easy to miss out on the full damage of a burst because so much of it was backloaded. And we felt the tuning of Revision Zero's heavy 2-round burst would be a good fit. So they increased the RPM from 257 to 300, reduced the burst deploy by 20%. Now matches Revision Zero hockey heavy rounds rate of fire. So yeah, basically just made it like now it shoots like that 2-round burst hockey thing, which sounds really cool. Because remember, they've also added a ton of other stuff to that. Like they've added, I believe it just has Warple Weapon on it, and also Turnabout, which Turnabout is not that great of a perk these days. But you have the Void Explosions. Yeah, I've liked Graviton Lance quite a bit. So now to see it get even better over these past few seasons is like really cool. So now I definitely will be pulling that out. Mess with. Jade Rabbit is a strong PvP scout rifle, but it's difficult to keep track of. The state exotic perk and refunding a single ammo just wasn't impressive enough for an exotic. These changes make the state clear, so basically it added a buff text to show when Fate of All Fools increased body shot damage is active. Quickly hitting 3 critical now refunds 3 shots instead of 1. So that's pretty good. It's better than
that is pretty good.
Better than that for sure. That could be even better. That could be useful even now in PvE, I think. With getting that many shots back. That's cool. Let's see what people say about that. Flying around with the Manticore is some silly fun, but we want it to be more rewarding, mobile, and sustainable. With this change, you should be able to remain airborne for longer and be safer while doing so. Increased chaos damage resistance from tier 3 to tier 4. Increased movement speed during hang time, and activating the Catalyst perk through airborne kills or sustained damage following an airborne kill, and now partially refills the magazine. So that's pretty cool. It's basically
all good changes.
Basically, you're faster, can take more damage, and now you can have more ammo. Cool. Yeah, that could be interesting. Lumina is getting its Noble Rounds cap increased from 5 to 6. That is cool. It now matches Ace of Spades 6 shots that it can have. So it's just going for consistency. So that's fun. Harsh Shadow wasn't quite hitting the fantasy we wanted to, so we made it easier to exploit the exotic perks. Damage increases now activates quicker while invisible after 0.25 seconds instead of 1 second. And Harsh Shadow weakens upon dealing any damage while the damage increase is active. Wow, so that's pretty cool. So you just
that's really good.
You just weaken a lot more.
Yeah, that was like the bummer part about the sword. It's just like you do the hit, go invisible, and then you have to like just stand there for a secline before you can kind of go in.
Right. Now it seems like you can just do that much quicker.
Yeah.
Cool. Worldline Z. Well, we love Worldline Zero's performance. That's an exotic name I have not heard in a long time. Now it is getting the sprint attack can now be chained into itself once. So you now do like, I guess just like you can now just do like 2 teleports with it, like the 2 like teleport slashes or whatever.
Seems like it.
Card energy costs from each sprinting attack reduced from 100% to 50%, and increased damage from an individual sprinting heavy attack by 8.3%. So basically just making it better across the board. Interesting.
Yeah. Again, an exotic I haven't thought about ever.
Yep, exactly. I've not thought about that ever. It's crazy. Sweet Business performance is a lot of fun. We felt we could really pull its fun factor and strength by adding some explosions. So now every 20th shot it has explosive rounds.
I love this.
Cool. Yeah. That's pretty fun. Just why not?
Why not?
Yeah. Like
Chaos.
And that'll be fun this season in particular because we'll get to the perks, but there's anti-barrier auto rifle this season.
Yes.
So just dump that into a barrier. That could be fun.
The best anti-barrier perk.
Yeah, seriously. Legend of Accuracy is getting its total ammo increased from 12 to 16, and it's increasing its maximum projectile distance. So that's actually pretty
Legend of
good.
Accuracy meta.
Yeah, that thing actually could be pretty strong come this season. For sure. I'm curious how that'll go. Tommy's Matchbook is getting its catalyst updated, so while you're overheated, sustained fire scorches your targets. So every 5 shots applies 14 plus 7 with the Ember of Ashes fragments scorch stacks. So, scorch while you're shooting yourself. That could be
While you're burning yourself.
Yeah, that could be interesting on a Titan with like Lorelei and stuff, or like with like Warlock in a well or something. So
yeah,
it could be silly, but like I think it still just needs so much setup. I'm like, we'll see.
It's a lot of work.
We'll see. No Time to Explain's drone wouldn't work against barrier champion shields when it had an anti-barrier effect. We fixed that and also made the drone work with the Feeding Frenzy perk. So that's pretty dope. So now the drone, your little time vortex thing you can spawn can help break barrier shields and also gets the Feeding Frenzy Catalyst perk activated. Cool.
Both good changes, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, not anti-barrier pulse this season, but whatever.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. It is the season, isn't it? I don't think it's anything this season, is it?
It's anti-barrier auto, and that's the only anti-barrier option for deep.
Interesting. Skyburner's Oath is the meta baby. It's here. Solo 3.0.
I did think of you when I saw this.
Solo 3.0 pass turned out to be too conservative, so we brought it up to be more competitive with other scorching options. So they basically just increased the scorch stacks from 3 to 5 to 5 to 10. That's cool. It's more scorching, baby.
And again, like there's the change with the scorch cooldown. The stacks don't start falling off until after 5 seconds pass instead of 3, starting with new season.
Right.
So it actually does make this better.
Yeah, that's cool. Better, believe. Savasion's Grip. This one's interesting. It's getting like pretty much a full rework here. So now it's reworked to have 2 firing modes. A charge shot creates a pattern of stasis crystals, where the number of crystals is no longer dependent on charge time. An uncharged shot is a normal grenade launcher shot, which does more damage to stasis crystals or frozen targets. Added a new perk that reloads the magazine from reserves when you quickly shatter at least 3 crystals with the uncharged shot. So that's interesting. So I guess the setup would be to charge up, shoot, make a bunch of crystals,
and then just blast them.
To then like get a bunch of
reload the magazine,
reloads.
so you charge again, and then
Okay, sure.
Yeah, it has to do damage for it to be exciting. Did Salvation's Grip get the grenade launcher buff? I don't know.
No idea. I mean, maybe
doesn't matter.
Yeah, maybe it does now because now it actually shoots a grenade. It does, and it also says it does more damage against frozen targets.
Yeah.
So it could do decent damage. It's just you have to have that set up. As that set up, like worth the damage you can do. Who knows?
And your exotic slot and your heavy slot. Yeah, probably not,
for sure. Bad Juju is next. That's another one I haven't thought about in a while. It has been hard to control, and it turns out that is because it is originally set up to use auto rifle recoil. Fix an issue where the causing weapon to use recoil like an auto rifle, making it harder to control. The recoil pattern will now be similar to that of other pulse rifles. Okay,
that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I'm curious, like which archetype it'll have. So that'll be interesting. Then Fighting Lion, I knew Fighting Lion did have like a weird damage bonus for certain things, so they fixed that issue. So it does not receive the 40% damage bonus of exotic primary weapons. So rest in peace, Fighting Lion, with that one. Thunderlord has surged in popularity with the release of the Catalyst and the Season 20 machine gun buff, as clearly imagined, but a ship with a bug that allowed lightning strikes at higher frequencies than intended against divinity bumbles. Strikes at higher frequency than intended. That's why I misread that. We addressed that, and now the regular crits are not affected by the change. So basically, doing extra. Now it makes a lot more sense why it was doing some crazy damage in some spots pertaining to div. I still think it'll be usable. Like, it's still really good in a lot of situations. Especially, like, I think Lost Legendary Master Lost Sectors or, like, Grandmasters and stuff, like, for Overload. Like, it's super good. That stuff
and it still does a lot of damage, and you don't have to reload it if you're hitting crits. So
yeah, exactly. So I'm cool with that. Let's see. The last one here, we have Winter Bite. Initial version included an exploitable damage bug. We fixed it, so the impact damage has been removed and redistributed to the detonation damage. Self-damage gun has been tuned to account for this increased damage of the detonation. So, there you go. Fixed Winter Bite. We'll see if that lasts, because it definitely is becoming basically like Telesto these days. Let's see. So perks up. More perks here. We have Fragile Focus. Fragile Focus is fairly potent, but the perk Deactivator was very unforgiving. So bonus lasts until shield pop. Returns when shield regenerates to 100%. So basically just you're going to have way more uptime on Fragile Focus. That's definitely way more of a PvP thing, so I have not really used that. But apparently PvP people are into it, I guess. So sure.
It wasn't very good, but this definitely makes it way better.
Sure. Yeah. That'll be interesting. Sure, I think PvP people will be more interested in that, for sure. After we got Thresh, Demolitionist, Pugilist have always granted increased energy on shotgun, fusion rifle, sniper kills, but Glaives missed out on that bonus until now. Grants increased energy to Glaive projectile kills. It's cool. I didn't realize that they did not do that.
Yeah, I didn't realize either, so this is good.
Glaive Gang.
Glaive Gang rise up.
That's right. Reconstruction has been simplified under the hood so that we can place that perk on more weapons without exceeding perk budgets. There's also a slight change to the timing of the perk. The initial timer cooldown timer between reloads has been unified. So base perk is 4 seconds. Enhanced perk is 3.5 seconds. I don't immediately know what the...
I don't know what it was before.
What it was before either. So ultimately, I'm cool with that just because they said it's going to be on way more weapons, and I'm totally cool with that.
Yeah.
Shoot to loot is already situationally useful. We've been looking at it to allow to interact with orbs of power, the distance, and use it so now you can shoot it to pick up orbs of power. Currently, this only works on direct hits. The ability for the orbs to be picked up with the weapon detonations will be added in a future patch. So just keep that in mind. You still want to hit it directly. And then the future, they talk about in the future they are doing they're doing all the big zoom changes where they're taking zoom away from damage fall off stuff. They'll get more into that in the future, and they're also doing a big sword update, which I said was the goal of making guarding substantially more valuable. So that'll be interesting. I'm curious what that means. And then of course they also mentioned we're working on update to Sparrows. They'll allow players to use their favorites instead of always on time without touching always on time itself. Which cool. I'm taking that as like Sparrow transmog. Maybe that's what they'll do.
Or maybe they'll just make all the sparrows faster.
Yeah, they just make them all faster.
That'd be nice because I don't have always on time.
Don't want to spend all that stuff.
I can't save up all that. I got more adept Rufuses to buy.
Exactly. But yeah, that's cool. There's your weapon changes. Yeah, a lot of these I'm stoked to try out. Graviton Lance, definitely the number one in my book there.
Yeah, not as many weapons that jump out for me, but I'm excited about the reticle changes.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool as well. Yeah, we'll have to see on Tuesday, but yeah, that'd be really cool if it ends up being Last Wish is the reprised or refreshed weapons for the raid. That'd be really cool. We'll just have to see here on Tuesday when Season Deep comes out. Let's get back to the TWAB that came out this week. Gave us our artifact perks, which we're going to talk about. A lot of these sound
juicy stuff,
juicy and sound pretty fun. Also, they did remind us in the same blog this week that the artifacts will be going now to like selectable perks, and now you can refund singularly. Like you can pick and choose, like toggle them on and off, rather than have to like reset the entire artifact every time you want to change them. So that's awesome.
The best.
I like that a lot, and I'm glad they could do that sooner rather than later. But yeah. Season 21 artifact perks. First column, we have anti-barrier auto rifle, unstoppable hand cannon, overload scout rifle, overload trace rifle, and unstoppable glaive. So
hell yeah,
a lot of fun stuff there. I think overload trace rifle will be really fun for that. I'm definitely gonna mess around with that probably a ton this season, I feel like. And also keep in mind that like this also gives them that surge or the overcharged while you have these. So all of these weapons will essentially get that like damage bonus as well through that. So you'll have better auto rifles, hand cannons, all this stuff will have slightly better damage this season. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Next up, we have column 2, which is our authorized mods, which usually just like kind of lowers some of the costs for certain things. So they have arc weapon, or we have authorized mods for arc, void, strand, and melee. And then we have the Technicolor siphon mod, which is our mod that combines the effects of strand siphon and arc siphon mods. So basically, you can make orbs for using strand or arc with that mod. That's cool. Definitely we'll get more into these, but it seems like it'll be a arc and strand are going to be the two big ones I feel like for the season.
Yeah. And, melee, more focus on melee over grenades last season. I feel like got more action. Yeah,
for sure. Next up we have column 3. Did one of those get cut off in column 3? Did I miss one? I did miss one.
Yeah, I can paste it for you.
Okay, cool.
I just saw that as well.
Yeah, I just noticed too. That's fine. So we have column 3. We have improved unraveling. Increase the amount of damage dealt by unraveling a target. That seems cool. Yeah, unraveling is fun. I like it. So having even better stuff like that will be interesting. Deeper Origins greatly improves the benefits provided by the Unstated Hunger, Nanotech Tracer Rockets, or Harmonic Resonance, and Noble Deeds traits. So that's a lot of traits. So Unstated Hunger, I'm guessing, is the new season's perks.
Yeah, I think so.
Is Harmonic Resonance the raid one or no?
Yeah, that's the what's it called? What's the raid? Ron. It's the Ron one.
That's the Ron one. That's what I thought. Okay. But yeah, Unstated Hunger. Yeah, I'm guessing that's the new one for this season. So it's cool. Unto the Breach. Defeating a voided debuff target creates a void breach while your void subclass is equipped. I like that one. I definitely want.
Plus, we're getting the new just general armor mod that allows any of the pickups of the subclasses to give you armor charge.
Yes, yeah, that's a good call out. That's gonna be good. I like that. I wanted more ways to get the breaches and stuff on Void in particular. So like having more access to that would be really cool. Considering like I get why they maybe were hesitant on it, but like considering how much you can do on Solar, and like and some other ones, I think it just needed a little bit more of this. That would be really cool because that's like way more uptime on things like Devour and volatile rounds and stuff. That's cool. Next one up is electric armor. Stay amplified longer while your subclass is equipped. That will be pretty good with another mod. We'll get to and a few other arc mods this season that I think will be pretty strong with that. Thunder's Retort grants bonus arc super damage if cast while critically wounded or while amplified. Lasts until the end of super activation. So I think that was a mod from an earlier season.
Yeah, Season of the Plunder.
Yeah, and that one was okay, but
maybe bunch of supers are getting buffed.
Yeah, maybe here with that on top of that buff, these could be hitting way harder for sure. So that's pretty cool.
Plus, you don't have to like spend like armor slots and mod slots to have some of these things happening. Yeah. Which helps a lot.
Yeah, that is definitely for sure. So column 4, this one I think will be.
It's always where it starts to get spicy,
Yeah, I think it might be another one that I was thinking of, but maybe this is it. It's a Strand Soldier. Your Strand weapons gain unraveling rounds whenever you gain Woven Mail, while your Strand subclass equipped. So you can do improved raveling, and this together seemed like it'd be pretty strong.
I think you're thinking of squad goals in complement to this, which we'll get to.
Yes, yeah, that's maybe what I was thinking of as well. Overcharged Armory, when weapons with the same ones as above, Unsated Hunger, Aerotech Trace Rockets, Harmonic Resonance, and Noble Deeds traits are always overcharged weapons for when you have this modifier active. So, definitely, I think that one's like a sleeper one when people don't realize like how useful that can be. With like 4 entire weapon selection of weapon groups, can now all have that. Like you're giving basically all the raid weapons you have, overcharge basically damage levels. So that could be. So I usually grab this one. I like it. Protective Breach, picking up a Void Breach gives you an overshield or refreshes your existing overshield. That seems like it'll be really good.
Yeah,
with the other one as well. So yeah, I like that. Counter Charge, gain a stack of armor charge when you stun a champion. Cool, like that. Amped Up, gain damage resistance while amplified. Also really good.
That's really good.
Yep, I like that. Yeah, a lot of good things this season. I feel like for Arc and Strand that I really want to mess around with. Conductive Cosmic Needle is the first one in column 5. Targets affected by Strand debuffs take increased damage from Arc and Void abilities. That's interesting. That seems very much like a run a team with that stuff to like have that. You can sever. I would say like severing's probably the easiest thing to do. Or now you have improved unraveling with this season stuff. So you probably throw unraveling or do like sever.
And then suspend is always good.
And suspend, yeah, you're totally right. And then just have, use arc abilities and stuff. Throw a Nova Bomb at some fool. And, do a lot of stuff. Shock and all arc final blows while you're amplified. So many burst of lightning that damages and jolt targets. That sounds like it'll be also be really fun.
That sounds crazy.
With the other stuff while you're amped up. So you gain damage resistance while amplified, and also what is the other one? Increase the amount of amplified. What is electric armor?
Increase. You get damage resistance and the length of it, and your super damage, and now you're creating lightning bolts that are jolting targets.
Yep, that's good. Yeah, this could be pretty crazy for Arc this season. It's gonna be fun. And then Supernova, picking up a Void Breach causes your next source of void damage to create a large weakening pulse. Also sounds really cool.
Although, that sounds super cool.
Again, yeah, it's picking up a Void Breach will give you a Void Overshield. Give you a Void Overshield. Then you can set off that chain with that because you pick up the Void Breach.
which will debuff targets, which will then allow you to make more
targets.
breaches.
Yeah, make more breaches and keep refreshing your overshield.
And potentially be getting like Devour and stuff with breach pickups and armor charge. So yeah, that's a really fun loop as well. That's very different than Volatile Flow, which I appreciate.
Yes, yeah, that's gonna be super cool. Then we have squad goals, which is definitely an interesting one. Performing a finisher while you are amplified grants amplified to nearby allies when your arc subclass is equipped. So now you can just give out amplification to your teammates.
To potentially teammates on subclasses that aren't arc, which sounds really fun.
Yeah. I wonder if that is how it'll work.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, because then the next after that is performing a finisher while you have Woven Mail grants Woven Mail to nearby allies when your Strand subclass is equipped. That is also really strong. And then, of course, performing a finisher while you have Devour grants Devour to nearby enemies when your Void subclass is equipped. Yeah, these are like that could be pretty wild. For
if
all
there's
three
cross pollination here, this could be like out of control for sure.
Yeah, that'll be the thing for sure. Is like, they also have to be on these same subclasses, and they just get that benefit from that subclass, will it just be they get any of these? That could be pretty wild if that is the case. But yeah, it's possible. The last one, lightning strikes twice. After throwing an arc grenade to gain increased grenade recharge for a short time, arc final blows extend the duration of this benefit. That'd be pretty cool. More arc grenades, for sure. Yeah, a lot of really cool stuff in those mods this season.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Column 5, really fun as always. I'm like we talked about, squad goals could be crazy.
Yeah, could be really interesting, for sure. Let's see. They are one thing to take note of, which I put in quotation marks, was apparently controversial to some people, but they outlined in this article that they are updating the visual look of a lot of shields across the game, just for like they stated like multiple reasons, where basically it is kind of they pointed out themselves that they think it's more readable for accessibility purposes. And it's also just like less taxing to have like all of these custom shields for all different kinds of enemies. So they kind of showed an example of like, the stuff of this Vex Minotaur, who has kind of the like more like cylindrical kind of Vexy looking shield, now just has like a weird kind of purple like rounded egg looking aura thing around him, and that's like the shield now for enemies just in general. And I think they said it'll be more visually different for like the different elements, is how they put it, but they didn't really show those examples. I saw like it was like controversial-ish in terms of like people were saying like it doesn't look that great, but I also saw people saying like, people who were saying like, hey, you're saying this is an accessibility thing, but this actually is like kind of worse for my like kind of visual, like some of the visual issues I have. And makes it like harder to read actually. So we'll have to wait and see, I guess, once it's out on once it's in the actual game,
hands of the people
in a few days. But they're trying. I could see them trying to like another big thing I put in here. They talked about stabilizing for the game, which has definitely been like a hot button issue with the game as of late, right? Like it's just been kind of weird, and like there's been a lot of times where they patch stuff, and then come after the patch, and then like the game is just super laggy or has like weird connection issues, and they have to then
downtime.
And it's like
emergency
downtime. So they kind of finally like said something a little bit about that in this week's blog, and something they're changing to hopefully kind of mitigate a lot more of that, or kind of get rid of it entirely. So I hope this does it for sure. But I'm just going to read this verbatim because this is from it's a note from the engineering team. As part of the work to prepare for Lightfall, we embarked on a large technical upgrade to improve our Destiny 2 services and hardware. This work included updating our services to use new technologies, as well as preparing for hardware upgrades. In the long run, this investment in the back end of Destiny 2 should lead to a more stable, reliable experience for all players and faster recovery in instances where the service downtime does occur. The launch of Lightfall was a great example of this, with high stability and uptime for both the launch day and the Root of Nightmares World First Raid. That's definitely worth pointing out, right? Like, even though with some of like the weird downtime we've been having in the recent weeks, like the launch day Lightfall, we were in pretty fast and we played all day and like didn't have a lot of drops. Same with like the Root Nightmares, they had it going for 2 full days and didn't really have a lot of issues. But it's always been that, like, the thing they're going to talk about here is like it's been like when they've kind of done patches and they'll do a patch and like sometimes like either the patch is like wonky and it's like messes a thing and they take it down for like extended hours, or the patch didn't really fix anything and then just like the services go down. But yeah, they get more into it here. However, as millions of players have interacted with these services, we have discovered some issues that we are working on addressing. A prime example of this is our background service update system. Typically, several days before one of our Tuesday updates, we will stage the update on our servers. This upgrade upgrades our backend services to the new version and means that players, let me start there. Oh God, I got lost. Whoops. Pro Reader. This upgrades our backend services to the new version and means that during the Tuesday patch, we only take a brief amount of time before letting players back into the game. However, with our new libraries and code, we've discovered cases where the background update has put our services into a bad state, forcing us to bring Destiny 2 offline for extended maintenance. Like we mentioned, it's happened a bunch during this season, and like happened like even kind of before Lightfall. Really, I feel like there was a lot of that in Season of Seraph, unfortunately. So what are we doing about this? We have a team focused on making corrections to our new services so that we can safely perform background updates again. However, while we do that work, we also want to make sure your Destiny 2 experience is as predictable as possible. Therefore, starting with Season of the Deep's launch, update 7.10, we are moving to a scheduled downtime model where we bring Destiny 2 offline for an expected 1.5 hours on our update days. This will allow us to do our staging and rollout on the same day and would make the experience more stable and reliable. In the meantime, we will continue to monitor performance, upgrade hardware, increase service reliability, and work to give you a great experience each time you play the game. So there you go. Basically, they were trying to they introduced a bunch of new stuff during Lightfall that made it so they had instability when they made server update or made patches basically, and now they're fixing it. And in order to fix that, now they're taking more extended downtimes on patch days.
It's good to have clarity on this.
Yeah, agreed. I appreciate them talking about it more directly now that they have like a worked out plan to keep it more stable. And we'll have to see, like, so I guess from now on, expect when we see a patch coming on Tuesdays or Thursdays, when usually when we get them throughout season stuff, we'll have that hour and a half downtime.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. Biggest of deals to me is that amount of downtime. Because ultimately, if it means when that patch goes up, you can actually get on and play for that day and not have a bunch of weird connection errors or kicking people off with a bunch of issues and stuff, right? So
yeah,
if it works, it works.
Yeah, you'll just have to go outside and touch grass, which is terrible.
Yeah, no.
Obviously.
Literally do anything else with your life for
I'm just gonna go touch grass and Tears of the Kingdom. So.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I'm at as well. But yeah, that's the blogs. I think there's like some other stuff in here. I think
Titans won
Guardian Games. That's right. That we're basically at that point now where I think by this point they've won so many days in particular they can't be overtaken. So good job, Titans.
Congrats, Titans.
We got one for Lance. We did it.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, those are the blogs. I think that's like the overview of all the things we haven't gone over yet. And yeah, we have a new season of Destiny 2 to look forward to in a couple of days.
Yeah, going back to Titan. It's exciting.
Going back to Titan. Gonna go hang out with a weird sea monster. All the other fun stuff. I'm sure I'm looking forward to seeing new armor, new weapons, whatever the story is going to be about. We know we're going back to Titan, but what does that involve, right? Like a lot of mystery there. I'm sure we'll get a trailer probably maybe the day before, pretty soon here, right before it goes up, and that'll be cool to see. And then we'll have a new dungeon the same week.
The thing we didn't talk about, the videos of the Strand aspects.
Right. Yes. They did give us a video form. In video form, they gave us the 3 new aspects.
It's very brief. It's not like anything we have to go super into detail in. But Fletch's Storm looks sick.
Yeah.
My light went out.
Oh, rip. I think like in particular, both the Hunter and Titan ones like visually look super cool. Where like the Warlock one does not look like visually cool, but like being able to more freely suspend with the tangles and stuff, I think will turn out to be very strong.
Yeah, it looks powerful and potent, just not as rad as I hoped it would look.
Yeah, because you're pretty much just throwing a tangle. Where like the Titan one is literally like you like go flying up in the air and become like an anime man. You're like shooting out like
it's very
blades
good.
and blades and stuff, and then like the Hunter has like a little decoy that like hangs out in the arena and explodes and stuff. I'll definitely throw some like the videos they have in the blog here in the video version real briefly just for people who want to see it if you haven't already. It's cool. They look really fun. I'm definitely gonna mess around with them, but I don't know if they'll fit in. I definitely think that Warlock one I'll end up using a lot. The Hunter and Titan ones, as cool as they look visually. I don't know. I like a lot of the other stuff in those kits already, so it's hard to know for sure if I'll be able to switch to those or not. But still look cool and fun regardless. I'm happy that we'll get a new set of aspects to go after. We'll have those in a few days here. See how it is for a new season of Destiny 2. I think that'll do it for this episode of Helm of the Tower. We'll be back.
Hell yeah.
We'll be back with a new season starts. We'll be back probably talk about once the dungeon is launched. We'll probably I don't know if we'll be able to stream it this time around, but we will probably hop into a blind and talk about it on the next episode for sure, and just all the new season stuff. So we'll be back in a week to do that. So thanks everybody for hanging out. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.